Chuck's here. I'm stripping down these Makita 18 volt 4 amp or 3 amp, depending on what one I'm using. And I started off by getting this bit here and start unscrewing them. Well, that took me forever. Now, all I do is I get the old Makita, or this new Makita, throw it on, see if it runs. If it does run, then good. That one's totally dead. I wouldn't even try to put on there. These are all broken. But stripping them down is a bit of a fine art. They come like this in most packs. This is the 3 amp version, and you have to take the foil off. So once you take the foil off, because the foil is that thin, it's actually pretty crappy material for a look. I wouldn't make batteries like this, but it's a cheap and nasty way of doing it, and that's what Makita seems to want to do. Anyway, so you've got that's hooked on to the BMS. This is the BMS here on top of it. Normally you find these flexible printed cables, they'll be broken, and then the item won't work, but the voltage is still good. Like, I've got a pack here. This is out of the 4 kilowatt pack. Same batteries. They use thicker tinning on them. That's about the only difference. So the 3 amp and the 4 amp aren't much different, except I can't pull this one apart because it's meant to be, I don't know why they did this. This is a lot of pain in the ass to me, and I don't know how to pull this one apart. If anyone knows how to pull it apart, give us a yell. It even had a little button here which turned on a little doobie to show you the lights work, and the actual device said it was faulty. And guess what? I'm telling you right now, maybe the BMS might have been faulty, but these batteries are really good. They're almost 4 volts each, so that's a really good battery. In the 5 volt version, you get these ones here, and they're about 25, maybe 26, or 2.5 amp each one. You get 10 of them in the pack, so they're quite good. So they're if I had one thing to say to anyone, I'd say get yourselves the 5 amp version, and don't stuff around with the 3 and the 4 amp versions if you can. Saying that, I've actually bought a couple of 4 amp versions and 3 amp versions in my toolkit. Anyway, to get into these batteries, a quick way, I go over to, I go over to trusty old Ryobi and throw it on. And I come along here and I line it up and I cut a groove into the bottom of it to make it come loose. That one's still not loose, so I might have to give it a bit more. I will give it a bit more. So I'll pause it for a minute. Go back. Okay, I've made a bit of a breakfast on this one. A big mistake, but that'll open up because I've broken the seal. Then I drill out the back end. I'll go and take that over to the drill and drill out the 2 screws at the back, and then that'll open up. And I'll see if I get a pack open for you. Here we go again. Here's your BMS on top. I used to work in defence, so I'd seen stuff like this before. The people that make these cover them in something that'll stop them from being seen what the actual BMS is made up of. It's a waste of bloody time, because you can get this stuff apart really easy, and I'm not going to say how, but you can. And then the problem is these overheat and destroy the actual cells. Now here's the cells again, another lot. I'm saying right now, I reckon this will be reasonable on voltage. I'm saying it would have to be still, well, I've tested a couple of them, they've all been pretty good. So yeah, but if you're fixing these, and I just had a 18650 hook itself to the magnetic base of my phone, if you're fixing these, I would run wires to there and put proper tinning on these. These are actually a good one. These are probably an earlier model, but the other stuff is just made of, I can find some of it. It's very fine, flimsy type stuff, like this stuff. It's made like paper mache, paper virtually. You can bend that, so it's just rubbish. Anyway, this isn't repairing a Makita, but showing you what the parts are in it. So you got your BMS, you got your batteries. They're made up in an 18 volt system. So these two are set up. They've got separate areas for charging. But this one's pretty well stuffed, so I'll see if I can get it apart. But yeah, this is what I've been doing all day, trying to recover batteries. But yeah, take my advice, get the 5 volt version. It's an old body meter I bought from a Radio Shack. I got sentimental over it because it looked like something that I used to use. Anyway, that's it for me. And there are all the batteries that aren't working. Anyone know what I can do with those? Or find someone that buys them? Because, yeah. Anyway, catch ya.